Hey, Nessa girl, my hair is laid like it's Friday, and I can't wait to get the hell this day over with so I can get to my weekend. Oh, wait, shit, fuck, wrong show. That's not even my show. Ooh, Jesus. Sorry, Dineva girl, that's your shit, not mine. Hey guys, this is Lynx here, and it is a nice 30 degrees this morning. Oh yes, quite lovely for this time of year. My ass, I'm sick of winter. So we've got two things on the plate today. Oh, and just so you guys know, this is your morning commute with Lynx. Wow, how unprofessional. This is your morning commute with Lynx. We have two things on the plate today. Thing number one was the show I did last night, which was actually kind of awesome. And the other has to do with something completely different, and that is gun control. It is again in the news. I'm kind of sick of it, really, at this point. So first, we'll start with the show I did yesterday. Along with being a blog contributor to the Mail Media Mind, I also have Brutal Lynx. And I also participate in a lot of different forums and stuff like that, you know, where I kind of, you know, I do what I do. I say what I say. You know, I express my opinion and I don't apologize for it. But I also, you know, try to educate. So I got asked to be on the Michael Bonner Show, which is an internet radio show. And part of the MB network. It's actually pretty cool. They have a couple different shows that they placed. I will definitely put a link to the archive of that show down below. Oh, come on, lady. Don't be afraid of the fucking traffic. It's not that bad. And the subject was people divided, which to me was a very interesting subject. They wanted to talk about how our nation is divided by everything from race and sex to sexual orientation, social status, financial status. And in all reality, I mean, you know, the show itself is one that is geared more towards the African American community, although they do have people from pretty much everywhere. I should have put that on first. They do have pretty much, you know, people from anywhere calling in, you know, black, white, anything. And last night was more of a round table to kind of talk about this, and I provided the gay male perspective. I was also able to participate in the discussion of race relations as well, because I don't know if you guys noticed, but you know, I'm black, and not many people peg me for gay right off. So you know, when it comes right down to it, I have to deal with more racism than I have to deal with homophobia. I really probably wouldn't deal with as much homophobia as I do if I wasn't out. Like if I just decided to remain closeted or something. Which, to me, you know, that's just a non-factor. I would never do something like that. I'm out, and that's just the way it is. People deal with it or they don't. So yeah, that was pretty cool. We touched on a lot of great talking points. You know, one of which was, you know, are you born gay? To which, you know, my feeling and my knowledge on that subject is that you are born gay. It's like, I didn't choose this. You know, it's hard enough being black and male in this country. Why would I choose to, you know, throw, you know, extra firewood on there? You know, I really wouldn't. No person in their right mind would choose to, you know, be something or do something that is so frowned upon, you know, unless it just is who they are, you know. But yeah, it's about an hour and a half show. They had we had some people call in, which was great. There were I noticed later on there were actually people commenting in this little chat window down below, which, you know, I wish I noticed earlier, so that way I could have addressed it, you know, a couple of things. But all in all, it was great. I had a great time doing the show. I think you guys should check it out. Give it a listen. Like I said, the link to the show will be down below. And yeah, you guys should definitely check out the Michael Bonner show. He's an intelligent guy with a lot of great things to say. It is black owned and black run, which, in and of itself, to me, is a huge positive. I would much rather, be educating, my fellow brothers and sisters out there than, where we have a serious lack of education on the subject of race relations, politics, the gay rights thing. There's definitely a divide, where people don't understand gays, and I feel like I definitely made some ground there. I feel like there were open minds, and there were open minds listening. So I was more than happy to do it, and I had a great time doing it. Michael, it was great. I would love to do it again. So the next time you want me on, give me a call, give me a shout, and I'll be there. But that's that subject. The other thing, the NRA is going to sue New York City over New York City's gun control laws that they just recently passed. I find this to be ridiculous. Now, let me preface this by saying the following. I am not in favor of any right being revoked. Because the moment you can revoke one right, you can revoke all of them. So we have the right to bear arms. And I fully 100% support that right. That being said, and there was a that being said. That being said, there's no reason for people to have semi-automatic weapons. There's no reason for people to have automatic weapons. There's no reason for it. I mean, if you're someone who goes hunting, if that is what you're using to hunt, there's nothing left to eat after you hunt the fucking thing. There's nothing left to skin. You've blown it to pieces. There needs to be a limit as to what you can do. Now, the example I like to use is that I like swords. Blades are my thing. Swords, knives. Yeah, I collect them. I love them. I think they're amazing pieces of weaponry that take great skill to use, take great skill to create. To me, it's a work of art, along with being, a self-defense device. With that, and I think we can all agree that a sword or a knife is nowhere near as dangerous as a gun. Why? Because they're not projectiles. Yeah, sure, you could throw one, but they're not projectiles. They require close combat. Far, far more dangerous to the person wielding it than it is to the person defending against it. Unlike a gun, where if you don't have bulletproof something, your ass is grass. But swords, knives, those things are all regulated. They're seriously regulated. I mean, I can't carry a knife with a blade longer than, my 4 fingers. Or the 4 fingers of whoever, and we're talking sideways 4 fingers. Than the person who's doing the actual looking at the knife. If it's some chick that's looking at knife with these tiny little hands, and she goes for for a pocket knife, you're gonna get some serious shit for it. We can't carry them in public. We can't, I can't carry my sword in public, but you can get a license to carry a gun in public. So what my thing is if my weapon of choice is so hardly regulated, what makes your weapon of choice any better? It doesn't. It doesn't make your weapon of choice any different. Your weapon of choice is a gun. That's cute, whatever. But if I have to adhere to rules and laws, then you have to adhere to rules and laws. And they need to be just as strict. My main issue with it is that, what New York is proposing isn't even that harsh. Statewide registration. Yeah, you should have to register your gun. State fucking wide. 7 bullets in, 7 bullets maximum in the magazine. That's probably the thing people are flipping over the most. Well, shit, become a better shot. You got 7 bullets. You better be able to do it in 7. Whatever the fuck it is you need a gun for, you better be able to accomplish it with 7 bullets. If you can't accomplish it with 7 bullets, you shouldn't be using the goddamn thing anyway. You know, if your shot is that bad, leave the gun at home. But yeah, you know, and if you're gonna fight for, you know, gun control, and you're gonna fight the fight of you want to have the right to bear arms, you know, one of my biggest things, you know, with that whole movement is that they're only focusing on themselves. They're only focusing on the weapon they want. They're not even like, fuck, if you guys are gonna actually work to, you know, have things deregulated, hey, how about knives and swords too? How about you know, there are states where you're not allowed to carry a bat in your car unless it's in the trunk. And even then, you better have some baseball gear. If you don't have any baseball gear, you're going to jail. There are states where, California, there are states where you know, you can't carry a bat. The right to bear arms encompasses all weaponry. I mean, we're talking about knives, swords, guns, bats, your car, because your car could be a weapon. So, you know, I think it's an inherently flawed fight, because they're only fighting for one particular weapon as opposed to the rights of all weapon holders. So of course they want to sue New York City over things that really, to me, just make sense. New York is not saying you can't have a gun. New York is not saying we revoke your right to own a gun. New York is not saying we revoke your right to own ammo. New York is saying we're limiting how much of this stuff you can have. You know, you can still have it, but do you need a magazine clip that holds 1,000,000 bullets? No, you don't. You really don't. It's like, and anyone who says they do either lives in Beirut or they're lying. Because there's no place in America where you need this. I don't care where you are. I mean, there are places where, yes, bears are a reality. You don't need a semi-automatic weapon to kill a fucking bear. You don't. You don't need a semi-automatic weapon to kill a wolf if it's eating your sheep. You don't. You don't need those things to do it. People have been killing these beasts for years without those things. So you don't need them. So what's the big deal? I mean, I get that a lot of the big deal is that the government is telling people what to do, and people don't like government telling them what to do. But I think a lot of it is also an entitlement issue where, you know, they should be able to have these things because they want it. And that's really what it is. They want it. None of them can justify why they want it or why they need it, because there is no justification for why they would need it. You don't, like, what's wrong with a magazine clip that holds 7 bullets? If someone can tell me exactly what's wrong with that, why that is such a horrible, bad thing, and actually give me an argument that makes sense. And I mean clear, perfect sense. You know, not bro logic, none of that bullshit. Clear, present, perfect sense. Like, well, I live in an area where, you know, we are attacked by 150 honey badgers, you know, every hour. Okay, I get that. I see it. Cool. But that's not the case. So let's cut the shit. So anyhow, be sure to check out the Michael Bonner show. It's pretty awesome. Be sure to check out the link below to the show that I did last night with them. Don't forget to also check out the mailmediamind.com, brutallinks.com. You can find me on Facebook as Brutal Lynx. You can also find me on